Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, where we strive to put love at the center of how we show up in the world. I'm Rachel Kay, our worship associate this morning. Welcome to you, young and old friends and new. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. Today, our worship service will be led by our minister, Reverend Cathy Harrington. Since not everyone can attend in person, we're streaming this worship service online, and we extend a special welcome to all who are joining us virtually. Another way that we walk together is by joining together for fun and fellowship. If you have an announcement to share, please send it in an email to Ashley in the office by Wednesday afternoon. Look for our weekly Spark for more announcements. And if you don't receive the Spark, you can fill out a visitor form in the parish hall. And now Stephanie has a live announcement.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Just announcing a reminder that we will be having our second annual Passover Seder on Saturday, April 4th at 4 p.m. We will be using the Humanist Haggadah from Carl Wolf's family, my husband's family, who will also be in attendance, so it's very exciting. And it will be updated to include the plagues of ice raids and current wars. It's a special meal. If you've never been to a Passover Seder before, it's a special shared meal and an opportunity to experience a Jewish tradition with symbolic foods. All are welcome to come. You can choose a dish to bring. It's usually traditional dishes that are served at the Seder. We will be providing the Seder plates and some of the main foods, but there are some related side dishes. So if you would like to participate and bring a dish, you certainly don't have to, but if you would like to bring something, please see me, and there are some that, just so we don't have an overabundance of the same kind of foods, just see me afterwards, or you can email me. And there's more information in the Spark about that. Thank you.
Yeah, in the Spark, there's a list of all the dishes you can sign up for if you want. And Stephanie and Michelle will be available during coffee hour today if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns about what's been going on in the board meetings and retreats. So feel free to stop by and speak with them. Michelle will be having a trivia night planning brainstorming session after coffee hour today. And if you'd like to help Michelle plan trivia night, please join her after coffee hour. And that's Michelle in the back, and trivia night is so fun. Oh my God. So, you have to come. And Roz has an announcement. Oh. Yeah. And anyone you know that has rummage, and invariably every time after the rummage sale, oh, I had bags of stuff I just got rid of. Ask them beforehand. So, and Faith in Action will be joining Brown Faces, Green Spaces for a beach cleanup at Marquette Beach on April 11th at 10 a.m. If you'd like to help out with this, please see Michelle, Cindy, or Pete. And okie dokie. Now, take a moment and greet your neighbors. Say hi to someone you don't know. Bonjour, bonjour.
May I say something? My parents were members of this congregation 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
Margaret and Reginald Maiden. And my name is Lori, and this is the first time I've visited you.
Well, welcome back. And now please turn off or silence your devices. And as you do, allow yourself to enter sacred time together. And take a deep breath. And another. And join in the spirit of reverence.
Good morning. Each week during our morning worship service on Sundays, we join in reciting the words of affirmation that are in your order of service or on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
The flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It suggests transformations that take place when we are held within religious community. When we light the chalice in worship, we illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. Please join us in lighting this chalice by reading together the words on the screen and in your order of service. We gather this hour
as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest of truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share.
Together. And now please stand and read and sing the doxology.
My opening words this morning are by Rebecca Parker, Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, who was the president of Star King School for the Ministry when I was there in Berkeley, California, many years ago. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction and who with faith rise and lead in freedom with grace and power. There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage or tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose grief troubles the water while their voices sing and speak refreshed worlds. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joy. There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear. And there must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness. It's good to be together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It's in the Teal hymnal. Now it's time for our story for all ages. This story is called This Is Our House. I couldn't find my book, so I'm going to read from there. By Michael Rosen. Okay. George was in the house. This house is mine and no one else is coming in, George said. It's not your house, George, said Lindy. It belongs to everybody. No, it doesn't, said George. This house is for all me. Lindy and Mark looked in the window and said, it's not your house, George, and we are coming in. Oh, no, you don't, said George. This house is not for girls. Freddie was walking past with Rabbity. I've come to put Rabbity to bed, said Freddie. Freddie took Rabbity for a ride in the car, and Charlene and Marlene fixed the front wheel. George won't let me and Rabbity in the house, said Freddie. Charlene, Marlene, Freddie, and Rabbity headed straight for the house. Stop right there, said George. We're coming in to fix the fridge, said Charlene and Marlene. "Oh, no, you're not," said George. "This house isn't for twins." Luther's jumbo jet landed in the house, and he went to get it. "Where do you think you're going?" said George. "Flight 505 has crashed," said Luther, "and I'm coming in for the rescue. Fire, fire, woo, woo, woo." "You're not coming in here," said George. Luther radioed for help. "Call Dr. Sophie, calling Dr. Sophie." "Can I help you?" said Sophie. "We can't get at the plane, doctor," said Luther. "Leave it to me," said Sophie. Sophie and Luther pushed through the crowd. "Make way for the doctor," said Luther. "We're coming in," said Sophie. "Oh, no, you're not," said George. "This house is not for people with glasses." Rashida had a plan. "I'm going to tunnel in." She poked her head under the house. "Go away," said George. "This is my house." "Well, it's my tunnel," said Rashida. "Well, tunnel somewhere else," said George. "This house isn't for people who like tunnels." It was getting very noisy around the house now, and George wanted to go to the bathroom. "I'm going to leave my house now," said George, "and no one can go in it when I'm gone." And George went to the bathroom. Lindy, Marley, Freddie, Rabbity, Marlene, Charlene, Luther, Sophie, and Rashida went straight into the house. George came back, and there was no room for George. "This house isn't for people with red hair," said Charlene. George started to shout. George started to cry. He started to stomp his feet and kick the wall. And then he stopped. And then he looked. "This house is for people with red hair," said George, "and for girls and small people and twins and people who wear glasses and like tunnels." "Because," shouted Marley, Lindy, Freddie, Marlene, Charlene, Luther, Sophie, and Rashida, "this house is for everybody." And that's the end. Okay.
Each week, we share a portion of our Sunday offering with a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we're sharing our loose change collection with Northwest Indiana Pride Fest. Donations in the baskets will go to sustaining the mission of our congregation, and donations in the cups goes to the Northwest Indiana Pride Fest 2026. The event will be held June 6th and 7th at Sunset Hill Farm in Valparaiso. Our beneficiaries this year are IYG, LGBTQ Outreach of Porter County, and Indiana Pride of Color. Each of these organizations is dedicated to the uplift of and advocacy for LGBTQ people in our area and throughout our state. For those not with us in person today, there's an online link for both one-time and regular donations. And for volunteers come up. your service and your gifts. We are truly grateful.
And now, in the center of our service and in the center of our lives, let us pause to honor the silences of the world. Let us open our hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain, and the soft, gentle coming of love. This morning, we especially hold in our hearts Brian Barnes, who was diagnosed with pneumonia, and he was in the hospital for some tests. He had a mass in his lower left lung, and he's okay, letting all of you know. Cards would be welcome. And he's home now, and his daughter's there today. His son was here this weekend. So let's begin our time of centering with a prayer by Victoria Weinstein. This church is a body. May this body breathe and be together in the spirit of hope. May it feel held by comfort. Those who seek consolation, may they find in it the solace of this moment. The church is a body. It is as strong as all the men and women who have ever gathered within these walls. It is the power of all they dreamed and all that they have done. This church is a body. It is as vulnerable as the most newborn and untried of its members. It is ancient, and it is ever new. And this church is a story. It is the story of lives that are interwoven, brought together in this place, and this time for the simple purpose of caring for one another and helping one another along the arduous path from birth to death. This church is a vision. It is a vision of unity amid diversity. It is a vision of reverence for all of creation. It is a vision that beckons us beyond the concerns of our own skins. May we abide as one body in the spirit of faith, hope, and love that is the story and the vision of this church. Amen. Let us pause for a moment of silence. I invite you now to come forward and light a candle of memory or hope, or place a pebble in the weeping well. And, or just sit quietly and let the music hold you in a meditative space. This last candle are for those of you at home. You are in our hearts. And now let us fill this sacred space with the names of loved ones we hold close, some suffering in sorrow and some celebrating in joy. Barb. Brian. May they feel the warmth of our embrace. The breath of nature is upon us, the spirit of life is within us, and the community of love is around us. So be it, and amen.
Joys and sorrows are a time to share personal joys that you're celebrating so that we can celebrate with you as a community. It is also a time to share personal sorrows that weigh on our hearts so that we can support one another in our times of sorrow or grief. Keep in mind that this is part of the service that excludes our online members, friends, and visitors. So when the mic comes to you, please state your name and keep it short. And Roz will come around with the mic.
remain seated and join me in singing When I Am Frightened, hymn number 1012 in your teal hymnal.
Our reading this morning is A Covenant Invites Relationship by Lisa Ward. A covenant is not a definition of a relationship. It is the framework for our relating. A covenant leaves room for chance and change. It is humble toward evolution. It claims, I will abide with you in this common endeavor, be present as best I can in our becoming. This calls for a level of trust, courage, and sacrifice that needs to be nurtured, renewed, and affirmed on a regular basis. A creed creates a static truth, something that does not incorporate new insights and realities. A covenant is a dance of co-creation, keeping in step with one another in the flow of our lives. A creed seeks uniformity and a unison voice. A covenant seeks harmony and a shared voice. Sometimes we may arrive at a unison, but it is not required. A creed gives authority to the statement. A covenant gives authority to shared intention. A creed creates an us and them. A covenant invites relationship. A creed is a prescription that must be relied on. A covenant relies on the treasures of shared truth. The overall trust within this covenant is in the truth, capital T, something which no one person can fully see, yet something which each and every person can come to know in glimpses, in another's stories, in epiphanies. Truth is ever changing in our seeking to understand because of our limited perspectives. We grow into a deeper sense of the meaning of all things when we take our journeys seriously, with full heart and mind. The courage within this covenant is in the acceptance and celebration of life, with all of its challenges, pain, ironies, and joys. And the sacrifice within this covenant is in the letting go of dogma, of assumptions, of control, and giving over to the greater wisdom which comes to us in bits and pieces. The task of this covenant is to take responsibility for the freedom we espouse. We know that we are interconnected and that what we do creates ripples of hope or despair, of affirmation or negation. What we do with and for one another is powerful and beyond our imagining.
So this sermon, Walking Together, is an exploration of the meaning and purpose of covenant in the Unitarian Universalist tradition. UU minister and theologian and historian Alice Blair Wesley reaches back to the 17th century to explain the purpose and the meaning of covenant to the beginning of one of our oldest congregations, the church in Dedham, Massachusetts, gathered in 1638. She discovered that as the founding members of that congregation asserted their freedom from the Church of England, they began to outline what exactly their free church would look like. They concluded and recorded for posterity, a free church is a group of people who want the spirit of love to reign in their lives. Is that not the essence of how we define Unitarian Universalism today, with love at the center, embracing the guiding principle that the spirit of love was guiding our forebears in 1638? Reverend Megan Lloyd Joyner wrote, "As Unitarian Universalists, we have inherited this definition. At our core, are we not a group of people who want the spirit of love to reign in our lives? We gather together bound not by creed, but by covenant, guided not by fear, but by love, informed not by suspicion and mistrust, but by the promises that we make to each other. Our ancestors in Dedham believed that the best way of being in relationship was to be in what they called a continuous consultation." Doesn't that just sound like Unitarian Universalism? They referred to it as walking together. So committed were they to walking together in love and continuous consultation that when there was a conflict or a disagreement, they outlined detailed guidelines for how that conversation would be conducted. Members of their congregation committed to listen deeply to each other's truths, to work through conflict by walking with each other in respect and love. And today we promise each other many of the same things that our ancestors did. And that is the meaning of covenant. In this covenantal relationship, we are walking together, and this is the most important part of our faith, since we have no creed. American Unitarianism came out of the congregational churches established in Massachusetts, which organized themselves around the principles articulated in the Cambridge Platform of 1648. The Cambridge Platform holds that there is no greater church than the congregation, which consists of visible saints in voluntary agreement and covenant with each other to worship, edify, and have fellowship. Each church is autonomous, and there is no higher authority than the congregation. Reverend Victoria Weinstein, who served the old church in Dedham, asked, "What holds us together?" And she presented a meditation on the Griswold Covenant that is still used by many congregations today. And we are used it as also our affirmation part of it. She explains each line of the covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. And so we will speak, act, and live with kindness as our central value. The quest for truth is its sacrament. So we will champion each one's sincere search for righteousness. And service as its prayer, we will pray together in actions of justice and compassion, to dwell together in peace and gentleness and silence, to serve humankind in fellowship, so that no one toils in vineyards alone. To that end, all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine, that each of us may achieve the deepest calling of his or her soul. Thus we do covenant with each other and God. So do we covenant to walk together in the bonds of sympathy mutual encouragement and compassion, faithful to the spirit of love in which we live and move and have our being. So in case we want to take our religious freedom for granted, may we not forget that we owe our religious freedom to the courage and the sacrifice of those who fought and died that we might be free. 16th century court preacher for King John Sigismund of Transylvania, Unitarian Francis David, said, "We do not have to think alike to love alike." Excuse me, challenging religious doctrine. This was considered heretical by those who embraced doctrines of predestination and infant baptism, the Lord's Supper, and the worship of Jesus. Francis David was ultimately sentenced to the royal dungeon, where he died on November 15th, 1579, for the crime of innovation. Our former UUA president, Susan Frederick Gray, said, "We sometimes wrongly say it is the absence of creed that is most important to us as Unitarian Universalists. This is wrong. Any one of us could practice religious freedom at home on Sunday mornings. We could practice religious freedom all day long, every day, and never come into community." She went on to say, "It is covenant that brings us out of isolation, out of selfish concerns, out of individualism, to join ourselves to something greater, to become a part of a community that is working to practice love, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and wisdom together, to find better ways to live our lives and live in the world. And this is sacred religious work." Frederick Moore wrote these words, "Not mission and vision, but covenant is what makes us unique. Covenant is how and why that gives power to our mission and vision. Everything we do is grounded in covenant, in the voluntary purposes and commitments we make to each other. One radical implication of this is that it is not possible to be a Unitarian Universalist alone." He writes, "I have a friend whose parents left the Unitarian Universalist Church after the congregation undertook a building program that they didn't agree with. They were dissatisfied with the direction the church was going. They never joined another Unitarian Universalist congregation, yet they still identified as Unitarian Universalists. I submit that is not possible, because the nature of our faith is not creedal. Just because you agree with our values and our principles, our mission and vision, doesn't make you a Unitarian Universalist. The essence of our faith is covenantal. You must be in relationship with other Unitarian Universalists, because you cannot do it alone. The only way to be a Unitarian Universalist is to be a part of a UU congregation, to make promises and commitments around our vision and our mission." All right, a moment of levity, because that was a lot of history. Do you remember those "how many Christians does it take to change a light bulb" jokes? Just when you think this tired joke has been laid to rest, someone resurrects it and adds a subtle twist. And Unitarian Universalists were not spared. How many Unitarians does it take to change a light bulb? We Unitarians choose not to make a statement in favor of or against the need for a light bulb. However, if on your journey you're invited to write a poem or compose a modern dance about your light bulb for next Sunday's service, if you have found that the light bulb works for you. We will explore a number of light bulb traditions, including incandescent, fluorescent, three-way, long life, and tinted, all of which are equally valid paths to luminescence. I'm going to spare you the jokes about the Pentecostals and the Presbyterians, because I don't like to make fun of other traditions. It's okay to make fun of ourselves. See me after church if you want to hear those. So the truth is that this joke pokes fun at us. It can be found in the two words, we Unitarian Universalists choose. We choose, and that is no small thing when you really look at it closely. Coming from the Greek word heresis, that means choice, heresy. We are heretics. We have been given that title because of a carefully reasoned choice to say no to the doctrine of Trinity, no to Trinitarian beliefs. And I say careful because during this time when the Bible had translated into languages that were accessible to the people, it was deadly dangerous to counter authority. Anti-Trinitarian beliefs could get you killed. Today, in less precarious times, UUs are generally thought of as heretics, often claiming that label without fully understanding the full sacrifice and courage that it took for our ancestors to pave that way for us centuries ago so we might have a free church. As Richard Gilbert says, so few truly understand that we have a rich and extensive moral tradition. He says that we have been called Jews without a history. Unitarians continue to be labeled by those who feel threatened by differing views, and we are a free religious tradition that is unconstrained by institutional dogmas or ecclesiastical authorities. Our values and principles with love at the center are not a creed, but operating values that bind us together. And from this place, we individually and collectively seek to find meaning and to become more fully human. And on this journey, we bring a variety of gifts to the table. This is our strength, the variety of the gifts that we share. There are so many. Some can sing and provide music, and they're artists and scientists and teachers and peacemakers. Some of us are good at governance and hospitality and fundraising and building maintenance. Some are good at welcoming newcomers, leading and teaching classes, mentoring children and teens, and offering love and care to those in need. So many talents and tasks, each one honored and each one so necessary. So we gather in this sacred space to honor that part of us that needs to be religious, to nourish that spiritual selves and join in the communion of lighting the chalice of our being. We need one another. We are all one spirit, one body. And this is the magic and the miracle of beloved community. We need each other. It is true that a joy shared is made double. A burden shared is halved. So I'll share a quick story about my life. I don't think I've told this story. If I have, I apologize. But I'm sure many of you haven't heard it yet. If I hadn't been invited to journal about it, which is the importance of reflecting on our lives and journaling, I would have missed it. I was in a spiritual direction group in seminary. I don't even remember the prompt, and I can't remember what triggered the memory, but it gave me new significance to an experience. Reframing a narrative is what happens when we journal. Sometimes our most painful memories of the past can hide the most important lessons that life has to offer. My oldest son was a student at Clemson University, majoring in biology and working part-time for a veterinarian while still living at home and commuting about an hour each way. So he had to get up early before the sun came up to get to school. We lived on a 45-acre farm with a 7-acre fenced slope pasture in front, where our 3 horses spent most of their days grazing and occasionally racing each other. We rarely rode them. They were yard ornaments. So one morning, as the darkness was just beginning to make room for the pink glow of the sun, the air was crisp and damp, with a light mist hovering over the tall fescue grass in the field. My son, we called him PJ, Paul Jonathan, grabbed his books and rushed out to get it to his little Ford Fiesta and threw me a hasty, "I'm in a hurry," he said goodbye, protesting in a futile attempt at breakfast. And within less than a minute, he came back in the house. His face was flushed with excitement. He said, "Come quick, Mom, come quick." And so we rushed outside, my husband and I, and PJ pointed to the pasture. Our house stood at the top of a hill, and the large green pasture was surrounded by a white flatboard fence, and it sloped in tiers toward the country road below. And nearest the lowest point of that green pasture stood our 3 horses, a few feet apart and as still as statues. Their heads were cocked with curiosity. They had company. On the grassy tier, about 8 or 9 deer stood in elegant pose, returning a curious, shy gaze at our horses, standing only a few feet away from them. It was an exquisite sight to witness, like a surreal 3D painting pulsating with life and beauty. And for a while, it seemed like time stood still, and we just watched while the creatures looked at one another without moving. And then it happened. Suddenly, one deer turned and began leaping over the tall grass up toward the hill, towards the barn that stood in front of the woods. And that did it. The rest of the deer followed with an agility and grace that didn't seem possible through the tall, tangled grass. And the horses began to run alongside the deer. We watched in awe as these magnificent creatures made their way to the edge of the pasture in a cadence of motion that was just so elegant. And the big horses, the muscular horses, managing to keep pace they managed somehow to run alongside the deer. And then suddenly, the first deer leapt over the fence and disappeared into the woods, and the horses had to stop. And they came to a halt, and their nostrils were steaming. It was amazing. And they were just leaving us, longing for more. One by one, the deer leapt over the fence and ran into the woods. So, in that moment, words would have violated that sacredness of what we had shared as we stood in silence, holding on to the magic of the moment as long as we could before reluctantly returning to life as usual. PJ went on to school, and I went to get ready for work. But it wasn't until several years later, when I was in seminary going through a divorce with all its pain and aching loneliness, that I had new insight about that experience. I was in that spiritual direction group, and we had been asked to write for 10 minutes about an unusual experience in nature. And then I thought about the deer and the horses. And as I wrote, I was moved to tears, because it wasn't until that moment that I could fully understand the miracle of the moment that was really in the sharing of the experience with my son and my husband. If I had seen it alone, it would have been magnificent, but a joy is shared. A joy is shared as a joy made double is an old proverb. A joy shared is a joy made doubled. And Anne Sexton comes closer. The joy that isn't shared, I've heard, dies young. Like the friend of mine who got a hole-in-one, but there was no one around to see him. So this congregation has had challenges, but here you are. Why do you persist? You haven't always agreed on things, but here you are. And as you know, there's no shortage of work to be done. It takes hard work and patience and creativity and commitment and the spirit of love. You gather in this space because you choose to be in this company, knowing deep in your hearts that shared joy is greater than the sum of its parts. And so may we be reminded that there are times when only silence can speak to the magic we share. Times when those brief yet exquisite glimpses of the sacred illuminate our lives. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 1018.
I invite you now to join me in reciting the words on the screen and in your order of service to accompany our extinguishing of the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our closing words are adapted from my colleague Krista Tavas. Our worship this morning is to an end, but our work has just begun. The work of holding one another and this community in love. The work of trusting that we are on the right path. The work of believing that what connects us is stronger than what separates us. The work of engaging in that which makes us whole. The work of deeper understanding and commitment. The work of letting go of that which does not serve us. The work of radical inclusion. The work of collective liberation. The work of this beloved community of which we are all a part. A place where all are welcome, respected, valued, cherished, and loved. This is our house, and we all belong. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. for food and fellowship in the parish hall.